Yeah, he'll be part of history.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, okay? I've gotten quite a bit of hate about my take on Keldon Johnson. As you know, several months back, I said Keldon Johnson was a role player, and some people have asked, do I still have that take? Am I still holding on to that take? And I am. But there's reason for that. So, Keldon Johnson, let me go ahead and say this, all right? Let's get all the positives out the way, and I'm going to explain quite a bit, okay? Just stick with me. Just listen to me. I'm going to try my best to explain how I feel about Keldon Johnson and why the role player label is not necessarily a bad thing, and why, in fact, I believe that it's going to be one of the reasons why he's going to help us make history. So first and foremost, let's talk about all the positives from Keldon as of late. Now, throughout the season, he's had a few sprinkles of greatness, okay? We got some 30-plus point games in here, and he's been pretty good, pretty consistent throughout the season. A few times where he slipped up, but hey, it's a young team. Everyone's going to slip up, but he's been consistently aggressive all season long. Now, with that being said, let's talk about his games as of late. Now, the past 7 games, he's averaged more than 20 points per game. So against the Portland Trailblazers, he had 26, Pelicans 21, Houston Rockets 21, Memphis 23, Portland 21, Portland 28, and then Denver Nuggets 20. Now, one thing about this is we do need to contextualize it just a little bit. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Keldon Johnson, okay? At the end of the day, this is NBA basketball. You're going against grown men, and you got to show, all right? You got to show up, and he shows up every single night. Now, with that being said, let's just be completely honest. These teams were full-on tank mode. Now, other than Memphis Grizzlies and other than the Denver Nuggets, which the Denver Nuggets aren't even necessarily world beaters themselves, but overall, these teams were in tank mode. These were not great teams that we went against, and it really helped us quite a bit to get into the play-in because of the bad talent we had to face, right? So we do need to contextualize that. But with that being said, like I said, you can't take anything away from him. Even with these 20-plus point games, he's still doing other things. He's getting rebounds. He's getting assists. I mean, he only got like one block here, but overall, he's played fairly well. And on top of it, he's not getting a lot of turnovers, and the ball has been in his hands quite a bit, as you can see. I mean, 8 for 14, 9 for 17, 7 for 17, 9 for 21. The ball is in the man's hands. He's doing fabulous. Now, let me go ahead and jump into my take, okay? I need to talk about this because a lot of people get angry when I say this about Keldon Johnson, but I'm going to try my best to explain it, and if I don't explain it good enough, I'm going to explain it again later, okay? Keldon Johnson is an all-star. He's going to be an all-star. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a superstar. In my opinion, when it comes to Keldon Johnson, he reminds me more of a Draymond Green, okay? I think that anybody who watches Draymond Green, I think most people would agree that Draymond Green would be considered or at least classified as a role player. I think sometimes when we think about role players, we think of specialties. We think of guys that can only shoot threes or guys that are only on the court to get rebounds. But I don't see Keldon Johnson in that light. I see him as a player that's going to bring the energy, which is one of his roles, catch and shoot, which is one of his roles, and just overall hustle and play hard. But with that being said, there are a few limitations to his game that I just don't think that he'll be able to scrape into superstardom. And that's okay. I think that that's part of what's going to really help this team down the stretch. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, quite a few things with Keldon Johnson that stand out to me. First and foremost, his catch and shoot threes, he's pretty good at it. He's gotten much better at it. He's had some games here and there where it's like, oh, that's not bad. 16% or good, 16%, 0%, 14.3%. And as we know at the beginning of the season, he really started off slow from three. But one of his limitations to me is I think that offensively, sometimes he's kind of a one-trick pony with the ball in his hands. That's fine. That's all right because he has such muscle and strength that he can just kind of body. I mean, call him big body, right? He can kind of just body into the paint sometimes. But overall, I don't think Keldon Johnson can create that amount of space that you would need to be classified as a superstar, because superstars can basically get shots at will. And I think when talent is tougher, that's going to suffer. Now, the reason why I said that he's very close to Draymond Green is because one thing that Draymond Green brought to the Warriors is not only because he can facilitate pretty well and he's pretty versatile big man, but it's because that he's capable of taking a back seat while still being the heart of the team. And I think Keldon Johnson will find himself in that position, especially when we get more talent on the team. And once Primo grows into his own, once Devin Vassell grows into his own, those two guys, I think, does have the potential to be that, just because I can see their skill set and it stands out to me like, okay, these could potentially be superstars. But that's not a knock on Keldon Johnson whatsoever. I'm not necessarily saying that he's a bad player. I'm not saying that he's a trash player. I'm not saying he's necessarily just a one-trick pony. I'm just saying offensively, that's what he does. And defensively, he can do things on that end and he can rebound. And everything to me, when it comes to Keldon Johnson, is in the realm of heart, determination, and grit. And that's why I love him. But at the same time, I don't know if we need to overvalue that. Now, I just wanted to point out that Draymond Green absolutely loves Keldon Johnson. And you should know why. But Draymond Green has said on record, we all know this, that he said that he's going to be an all-star in the next couple of years, in which I don't necessarily disagree with that. And when they were at Tokyo, the man said, look, he brought more energy than anybody. That's what we needed. And I think that Keldon Johnson being on the San Antonio Spurs, once we get the more established talent as far as the superstar scoring type talent, I think that we'll be able to sit back and Keldon Johnson would be part of Spurs history in which he really helped the team get there. That he was kind of the anchor as far as the defense. He was kind of the anchor as far as the heart, and he was the anchor in the locker room. And I think that that's what his legacy is going to be known as. Now, I could be completely wrong. When time goes by, I'm sure Keldon Johnson will, overcome this invisible ceiling that I've made in my brain, I guess. But overall, I just don't see it. I don't see superstar in the future, but I definitely see all-star / role player, but not necessarily just a specialty player, because I think a lot of people hear role player and they just think specialist. I don't think that that's Keldon. But you guys let me know what you think. I know that this is a rough take, a tough take, a hard take, a what take? I don't know. It's a hot take, but you guys let me know what you think. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, I'm sure you don't after this, but please, link in the description, Patreon, YouTube members, only $2 per month. I'll get with you guys later, man. Until next time, deuces.